Thousands of people blinked. They found themselves in a strange place. Gone were the familiar sights of home. Lush forests, towering mountains, and raging rivers surrounded them. It was a sight of breathtaking beauty and terrifying unfamiliarity. Panic surged through the crowd. They had no memory of how they got there. They had no idea where they were. The ground was alive with a mystical energy. It pulsed with an unseen power. This energy seemed to seep into them. Some felt stronger, faster. Others discovered strange abilities. They could control the wind or summon flames. Whispers of fear and excitement rippled through the gathering. It was a chaotic blend of confusion and awe. They were not alone. A booming voice echoed across the landscape. It introduced them to this new world. It was a world of magic and battles. The voice told them they were now players in a grand game. Their goal was to survive and rise to the top. The voice faded, leaving behind a stunned silence. Fear turned into a grim determination to survive. The initial shock gave way to exploration. The players ventured out, cautiously at first, into this new world. They formed groups, seeking safety in numbers. The terrain was as unforgiving as it was beautiful. They faced treacherous ravines and scorching deserts. Each step was a test of their newfound skills and resilience. Their powers manifested in different ways. It depended on their inner strengths and weaknesses. Some commanded the fury of fire. Others wielded the unyielding strength of the earth. The elements of air and water found their champions too. Battles were inevitable. Players clashed over resources and territory. They discovered the hard way that survival came at a cost. As they fought, a strange thing happened. A visible aura enveloped them. It shimmered with the color of their element. This aura reflected their power. It grew stronger with each victory. The stronger they became, the more pronounced the aura. It served as a warning and a challenge to others. A mystical energy permeated the air. It pulsed with every battle, every display of power. This energy, it seemed, was the lifeblood of this strange world. It began to weave its own order. Players were ranked based on their victories and the strength of their auras. The ranking system was unforgiving. Lose a battle and plummet down the ranks. Win and ascend to greater heights. A holographic table appeared in the sky. It was visible to everyone, no matter where they were. It displayed the names of the top 100 players. The top 10 names glowed with an intensity that was almost blinding. These were the elites, players of unparalleled power and influence. Everyone watched their every move. The ranking system added a new layer of tension. It fueled their ambition and their fear. Players were no longer just fighting to survive. They were fighting for recognition, for a place at the top. The desire for power, it seemed, was a universal language. Section 4. The Elites. The top 10 players were a class apart. They were not just powerful, they were legends in the making. Their auras pulsed with raw energy, radiating across the land. Each of them had mastered their element, bending it to their will. They were worshipped by some, feared by many, and challenged by a select few. At rank 1 stood Atlas, the Earthshaper. He was an imposing figure with eyes as hard as granite. Atlas could move mountains with a flick of his wrist. At rank 2 was Zephyr, the Windweaver. She was as unpredictable and deadly as a hurricane. Zephyr could whip up storms that could level entire forests. The other elites were just as formidable, each a master of their element. They were the trendsetters, the game changers. Their every action sent ripples through the ranks. A single word from them could spark wars or forge alliances. They were the celebrities of this strange world, their lives watched and analysed by all. But beneath the surface of their power, a storm was brewing. A storm of ambition, rivalry, and the insatiable hunger for more power. Section 5. A Show of Force. Word spread like wildfire. Rank 10. A fiery young woman named Ember had challenged Rank 9, a stoic water manipulator known as Tide. The battleground was a vast plain, scorched black by previous elemental clashes. A crowd gathered, their faces a mix of anxiety and anticipation. This wasn't just a fight, it was a spectacle. Ember struck first. A wave of fire as tall as a house roared across the plain. Tide stood firm. He raised his hands, summoning a wall of water that hissed and steamed against the inferno. The ground trembled. The air crackled with energy. It was a clash of titans, a display of raw elemental power that left the onlookers breathless. The battle raged for hours. Ember's flames danced and swirled, a fiery inferno that threatened to consume everything. Tide's water was an unyielding force, a bastion against the heat. Each parry, each attack reshaped the battlefield. Craters formed where fire met water, the very earth groaning under the strain.